Jace Denman here with MSUM Dragon head coach Steve Laqua. Coach, tough one in Mankato last week. Everything was there on the table for you guys. Couldn't quite get it done. What were the big factors in that game last week?
Well, I think, first off, proud of our guys, how they played. I think they went in with the belief that they were going to go toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the country, and they did. I think certainly we didn't play a perfect game. They didn't play a perfect game. It was two teams that were on the same field playing at the same level, and you know what? We just ended up coming up a little short. And so I think there's some places that we got to be better. There's some places we definitely grew and got better. In particular, if you're looking at it when it comes down, we got to find a way to be better in the red zone offensively, convert, whether it's touchdowns, whether it's field goals. And then obviously if we could have done that, we would have had a chance to hold it off there at the end. But credit to them, they put a big game-winning drive together and score with whatever under 10 seconds. And so it's kind of a heartbreaker, but we had to bounce back. But there's a lot of things we can build off.
Yeah, you look at that first half, you were 3 for 3 in the red zone. Second half, different story. Was it more, from a fan's perspective, was it more about execution and not making the plays that were there, or was there some adjustments that Mankato made that maybe the average fan can't see?
Well, I think some of both. I think they obviously, they're well coached. They got good players. They tightened things down more than they did in the first half and made them difficult. And as you get into the red zone, things happen quicker and there's less time and space to be able to get things done. And certainly we got to be better there. We shot a lot of bullets in the first half in the red zone, and so there wasn't maybe a lot left that we could kind of doctor up and go as the second half went. And so we're trying to find some different ways that maybe got a little bit outside of our comfort zone or our DNA. And at the end of the day, we just got to do a better job getting the ball in the end zone and finding points on the board.
I mean, from a broadcaster's perspective, from the booth perspective, I mean, you really kind of controlled that second half. And when you look at that, obviously you came away, unfortunately, with nothing on the scoreboard. But it seems like there's a ton of things you can really take away from that second half. So in a situation like this, how do you go about kind of lifting the spirits of your team, keeping them mentally in the game heading into homecoming week now?
Well, right away on Monday, we talked about the challenges that a game like this can present. It can leave you in a funk where you just keep talking about it and playing the what if, coulda, shoulda, wouldas. You can get in a place where you're like, oh, we're really good. We were close and almost won, and become overconfident. Or you can start to panic and really press and say, geez, we're so close. We just got to do a little more, and then you don't get in the flow, and you don't let the game come to you. And so we talked about those challenges that we're going to be in front of us and that we're going to have to make sure that we overcome throughout the week and be able to do that. And I think our guys have done a good job of turning the page and really setting us up to be able to have a successful week and at least play to the best of our ability.
Is it an additional positive for you to come into this week? Not take away the homecoming aspect of it, but is it important in a sense for you guys that you're able to have a game at home, a place where you've been undefeated so far this year? You've had 3 quality losses, if you want to call them, on the road, but now you get to come home and play in front of the home crowd as opposed to trying to tackle another opponent on the road.
Definitely being at home is comfortable, much more comfortable. You got the fans in your corner, they're cheering you on. There's familiarity with the whole routine and where we are, and you're right, we've played phenomenal at home, undefeated at home, have played great. We've started well, really been able to capitalize on a lot of things in all 3 phases, and so hopefully we got a little momentum going at home. We got the homecoming crowd. Hopefully that adds a little bit more juice to the guys, and we're able to continue to play within ourselves and execute at a high level.
When you look at Sioux Falls and what challenges they present, what are some of the keys you need to focus on both offensively and defensively heading into this game?
Well, I think we got to make sure that we can handle their adjustments, motions, things they're doing offensively. They move some guys around, they play with some good tempo, and so they can get vertical and on top of you really quickly. And so it's probably a different game than what we saw last week, where it was a little more run dominated, down your throat, kind of really going to invoke their physical dominance piece. This got a little more smoke and mirrors, a lot of things going on. They definitely can be downhill and run it at you, but they can hit you real quick with some misdirection stuff. So defensively, we got to be on point. I think offensively, there's some very similarities from what we saw last week in some of the head coach at Sioux Falls was the D coordinator at Mankato a year ago, and so there's a lot of crossover. So there's some things that we can maybe feel comfortable we're going to see, but we also know that Well, they just saw everything, how we were going to attack it, and so they've got the adjustments and the answers, and so now we're going to have to kind of figure that out on the run, because I know that they're going to have those. It's a really well-coached football team, and we're going to have to make adjustments ourselves.
Talk about the adjustments. I mean, last week, 3 for 4. You forced one turnover in the first half against Mankato. Second half, you kept him out of the end zone the entire second half. I mean, this defense, from my perspective, keeps improving week by week by week. They get better and better, and you made some great adjustments at the half to really kind of contain Mankato. Is there anything you can point to as far as why you guys have been able to just continually get better each week?
Well, I think coaches have done a phenomenal job of coming up with a game plan, but also contingency plans of here's the things we need to get to potentially if we run into these problems. And I think the players have done a great job buying into that, of not necessarily getting caught up in, well, if this happens, that they're ready if we need it. And so when we've had to go to it, we've been able to get to that. So credit to them of really learning the game plan at a high level so that we can toggle between different parts of the game plan as needed. And so, but then at the end of the day, it comes down to execution. And our players out there were executing hard, playing with tremendous effort and enthusiasm together. And I think a lot of it, they had a belief. They had a belief, and it kept growing in the second half. Hey, we can stop them. We can win this game. We can carry it as the defense. It was kind of the opposite in the first half. The offense maybe carried it, and then the defense carried it, and special teams was here and there with it. And we just got to get that magic all together in all 3 phases instead of kind of bouncing it around from one phase to another.
Your 3 road losses this year, all games against, I would assume, perennial powers in this conference. Sioux Falls has been at the top of this conference, at the top of the division at times. So are you able to take anything away from these other opponents and kind of infuse that into your team? Like, look, these teams are powers. They've been historically good teams. This is where we want to get this program to consistently. And so is there something you can take away from these opponents that you can instill in your team, or at least show them this can be done at this level?
Yeah, I think, you look at our 3 losses. Those 3 teams are combined 17-1. We've lost by a combined total of 15 points. Sioux Falls is a team that we've never beat in my time here, and so it's kind of a program that's in the same category. And I think there's a definite statement that our team needs to make this week. We opened up the door last week where you can look and say, you know what? We were on the field playing great football against one of the best teams in the country. And so we're either going to raise the standard, and that's going to be the standard, and that's going to be our expectations, and we're going to play at that level and take the pressure and take everything that comes with that, or we're going to kind of stay in this comfort zone of where we've been, of close but not quite. Maybe we do it. And so I think this is a critical week for our program, for this team, of what direction do we want to go, and that's been the challenge for these guys all week. What direction, what statement do we want to make about our future?
Well, it's my first year around the team, but I have a belief this is the week that you knock down that door and you make a statement. So obviously, best of luck for homecoming this week, Coach. Thank you for your time as always. We'll see you on Saturday.